Hi guys, Opinionated Horsewoman here. Today I am going to show you how to make your own hyaluronic acid serum for pennies on the dollar. That's right, pennies on the dollar. But first, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button, click the bell for notifications on all my new uploads. So, do you use hyaluronic acid serum on your face as part of your beauty regimen like I do? You probably are used to spending $6, $8, $10, $12, even 20-some dollars for 1 to 2 ounces of hyaluronic acid serum at the drugstore, at Walmart, at Target, at one of the high-end beauty places, maybe even online. Maybe you're buying it online from a boutique. You don't have to. You don't have to. You can make your own hyaluronic acid serum. It'll be preservative free. It'll be pure hyaluronic acid serum. There will be no additional chemicals in there that you really don't need on your face. So how do you do that, you ask me? Well, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how you do it. And we're going to make a batch, a 1 ounce batch that I'm going to use for myself right now. So first thing you need a bottle. So this is a bottle. I used to spend a lot of money and buy hyaluronic acid serum. This is a 1 ounce bottle. So pretty easy. It's got a little squirty squirt. You can see it's got a little water in it. I literally just cleaned it. It still works, so it's still good. What I did is I cleaned this out. I cleaned it really well. What I recommend you do is once you have gone ahead and cleaned that out, make sure you run some cleanser through your sprayer here or your pump. And then I recommend you fill it with distilled water, okay? So you're gonna need distilled water. You do not wanna use tap water because tap water has not only city chemicals in it, but it also generally is contaminated with heavy metals and some could have a little bacteria in it. So this is under $1 to buy a gallon of distilled water at the grocery store. So spend that $1. So once you have cleaned this out really good, I recommend you run a little bit of distilled water through here to rinse out any of the water, the city water that has chemicals or hard minerals in it. And then also run it through the pump. So your pump is cleaned out too. It has no more chemicals in it. There's no cleanser. There's no water that has hard minerals or chemicals in it. So give it a clean. You know, it's $1. It's less than $1 to buy a gallon of distilled water. So make sure this is quite clean because you're going to get really nice pure hyaluronic acid serum for your face. So this is the product that you buy and it comes from Amazon. I will link it below. It's very inexpensive. And in this packet you get 100 milligrams of powdered hyaluronic acid. Now it says it is vegan, additive free, no preservatives, non-GMO, it's kosher, it's gluten-free. This is edible. It's edible. A lot of people do ingest this. You can eat this, no problem. So, however, I'm going to use this to make my own hyaluronic acid serum. And this is pretty inexpensive and it lasts forever. I have had this packet for at least 2 years and I'm not even halfway through it. So, this is what the hyaluronic acid serum looks like. It is a white powder. Comes in a resealable plastic bag. Like I said, this is not new. I've had this for 2 years and I've been making my own hyaluronic acid serum for my friends and my family for at least 2 years and I still have lots left. This, you're going to need something to use as a bit of a scoop or a spatula. And it needs to be fairly small because you do not need a whole lot of powder to go into your 1 ounce of distilled water. So this is actually a waxing stick you can buy if you have home waxing, or you can maybe find a kind of like a popsicle stick, or maybe you can get a little itty bitty like 1/8 of a teaspoon, but you don't, it just does not need to be big because you really do not need much powder and you don't want to overdo it. And I'll explain that why. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this up in a minute, but first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and fill this. I have not filled this yet with distilled water, so super easy. Take my top off of the bottle. And I don't fill it all the way to the top. So I'll show you guys how much I use. A little bit too much, so I'm going to actually pour it out on my rag here. That's pretty good. We'll go ahead and replace the cap on that. So I'll kind of jiggle this around so you can kind of see I don't have the water all the way to the top of the bottle. You need to have some room for your hyaluronic acid powder. So that's ready to go. I'm going to take my little spatula, open up my bag of hyaluronic acid powder. And it is important not to use too much. And the reason why is you just don't want it so concentrated. What happens is you put it on your face, and when it dries, then it all peels off because you've overdone it with this. You want your skin to absorb it, not to have so much hyaluronic acid on there that it just starts to flake off. And I've made that mistake. You know, it was a bit of a learning curve. So I'm here to show you guys how to do it right. So I'm taking my little spatula, kind of mixing up the powder, and trying not to get too much on here. It's better to start off small. So I think I've got a pretty ideal amount. So I have 1 ounce of water, and this is the amount of hyaluronic powder I am going to use, okay? So I got my little spatula, I got my bottle of water, I'm going to put that in, and all I got to do is kind of tap, 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 and it falls right in. Okay, easy peasy. I'm going to go ahead and close this up. I do try to get all the air out of the bag before I close it, just to keep it fresh. And I do keep it in the bag that it came in to keep it out of the sunlight. I don't know that it's necessary, but I figure that's what they sent it in. I just put this in there as well. So you don't have to worry about if you spill a little bit of it. It's no big deal. You're barely denting it. So here's how it looks. So you can probably see the powder is floating around on the top. So I still have to close this up. I got my tap on, and you can still see, like I said, it's clinging now. I don't know if you guys can see that. If you can see it, it's clinging to the little straw, the pump, right? And you're like, well, that doesn't mix in well, right? I'm kind of shaking it up. I'll shake it really well and show you guys. All it's doing is it's created this big clump of water. And you're like, well, that's not going to help me, right? So the trick to releasing the hyaluronic acid serum into the water is you need to refrigerate this. When the water gets down to refrigerator temperature, the hyaluronic acid will release itself into the water and become hyaluronic acid serum. That's all you got to do. It's that simple. So there will be no preservatives in here. There's no chemicals in here. Nothing. It's just going to be distilled water, which is purified water, and hyaluronic acid powder. So this becomes your hyaluronic acid serum. Again, the key, the trick to this is refrigeration. Not freezing it. Just put it in your refrigerator overnight. By the next morning, it's going to be all mixed in. You would never even know there was an issue, but you can kind of see it kind of floats around like a congealed mess right now. So if you're in a hurry and you're really can't wait to try this, what you can do is you can refrigerate your distilled water so it's cold, and it will bind and it will release, and you will have almost instantaneous distilled water and hyaluronic acid serum. It's kind of cool. You can kind of see it moving around in there. It's pretty wild. But the key again, refrigeration. So I do not use, like I said, a lot of powder. If you use too much powder, what happens when you put it on your face is as it dries, it flakes off, and it's just gross. So less is more. You will do a little bit of a learning curve, but I showed you how much I use. This is a 1 ounce of water. You know, you could make 2 ounces if you want, but this 1 ounce of hyaluronic acid serum is going to last me a couple of weeks, and I use it twice a day on my face. So you know, it lasts a long time. And this is probably the 100th bottle of hyaluronic acid serum I've made for myself and my friends, and I still have a ton of powder left. So simple investment. This is probably maybe $20, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. You've got $1 for your distilled water, and then, you know, you just need to come up with a bottle. And even if you don't have one and you need to buy a bottle to use and with a pump, that's still a couple dollars, and you're going to have hyaluronic acid serum available. Nice thing is, you know, in beauty care, I have been complaining about this for a long time. They add a lot of preservatives, which is gross. You don't need that on your face, but I get it. You know, you don't want your beauty products to go bad, so they add preservatives in there, but they also add a lot of unnecessary chemicals, unnecessary fragrances. Fragrances definitely lead to allergies. You can refrigerate this when you're not using it. I have never had a problem. Once I have mixed this, put it in the refrigerator, let it kind of do its thing. It can sit out on my bathroom countertop for 2-3 weeks. It doesn't go bad. I've never had it go bad. Now, I do not store it in sunlight. That might be a reason why, but you know, there's no bacteria in here. If you've done a good job of cleaning everything up, you're using pure distilled water, there's really no bacteria in here. And because you're only making 1 ounce, you know, you use it up, like I said, 2 to 3 weeks. You know, even if you're using it with your spouse, you know, you might go through like an ounce in a week, but literally pennies on the dollar. This would cost you in a store probably $6 or $8 at a minimum, probably like $8 at a minimum for an ounce of hyaluronic acid serum. I mean, even if you go to the cheap drugstores like a Walmart or a Target, or you're going to be spending at least $6, $8, $10 on an ounce of hyaluronic acid serum. So there's no reason to. So tips again, like I said, make sure you refrigerate it after you mix it. It will start to mix in really well. Again, it's not got any preservatives in it, so be careful with it. I would just suggest keeping it out of sunlight. My bathroom doesn't have any sunlight in it, so it's never been a problem, but I think that would be an additional safety measure. The other thing you need to understand about hyaluronic acid serum, and this is part of the chemical nature of hyaluronic acid, is hyaluronic acid, the reason why it's such a good moisturizer is by its chemical nature, it attracts water. So what you have to be aware of, and what I do is when I get out of the shower or at night after I've washed my face really well, I very lightly dab my skin, but I don't really dry it hard. I'll put this on. I literally will wait between 10 to 30 seconds and no more. And you follow up. You need to follow up with a good quality moisturizer, okay? Because you want the hyaluronic acid serum to pull moisture into your skin. You don't want it to do is pull moisture out of your skin. If it's really dry where you live, like right now it's wintertime, it's very dry where I am at, this will, because there's not a lot of moisture in the air, will pull the skin, moisture out of your skin if you don't seal it in with the moisturizer. So, you know, can't say enough good things about doing this. If you guys want a good moisturizer, I cannot say enough good things. I talk about CeraVe all the time. This is a great moisturizer. I use their facial moisturizers. That's more of an all-over body one, but you can use it on your face. So make sure when you use hyaluronic acid serum, you are immediately following it up with a quality moisturizer, okay? So, you know, it's interesting as we've been doing this, a lot of this is starting to really kind of, you know, kind of mix together. It's getting a little thicker. It's forming more of the gel that is more like a hyaluronic acid serum. So I'm going to go ahead and prime this pump and show you guys. There we go. This is hyaluronic acid serum, and I can feel it. It has just that light glide to it. A nice consistency. If you get too much powder in there and you make it really thick, it'll come out, it'll be really a thick gel. You're gonna have problems with it. It's gonna flake off your skin and probably not do real well even with the moisturizer on it. So less is more. I showed you guys, don't use a lot. I'll show you again, I'll pull it out. How much powder I would recommend for 1 ounce of water. So I got my little spatula here. Let me just open this up. For an ounce of water, I would not reconstitute more than, that's even a lot, maybe this. No more than this. This is plenty, okay? And 1 ounce of water, this is plenty of powder. And you know, the stick is not real big, not real wide. So that is a very minimal amount of powder, of the hyaluronic acid powder. So, you know, you'll play around with it. You'll find the mixture and the quantity that you like and that works for you. And that's the nice part about it. So Hope you guys really enjoyed this. You get a lot out of it. Really hope you guys try this. There is no reason to spend money, $6, $8, $10, $12, $20 at the store, $25 for 2 ounces maybe, when you can spend literally maybe 20 bucks and it'll last you 2, 3, 4 years. You know, or you can spend $20 and get 2 ounces, and maybe every month you're spending 20 bucks. I just don't see the need to do that. The nice thing is also no preservatives in here, no added chemicals. It's been pure distilled water and just plain hyaluronic acid, right? Doesn't get any better than that. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel, click that bell, and leave me a comment below. Are you going to try it? Are you going to try this? Make your own? Or do you have any questions on it? I think I've kind of gone through everything I can think of. Again, don't use too much powder. But thank you guys. Have a great night. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.